Evening all, evening. Tom here from Pizarro's Pieces, and we are live on YouTube. We are here from 8 till 9, an hour. Now, I was meant to have two guests tonight. Unfortunately, one of the guests couldn't make it. Vic from A Fistful of Collectibles could not make it tonight. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping to get Vic in next Monday when I do my live stream next Monday. So without further ado, guys, I'm going to bring into the studio the guest for tonight. Like I said, we're going to be doing an hour. Mr. Big C. How you doing, buddy?
How you doing? You all right?
All good, mate. All good. We're live. Mr. Dan Plastic's in the building already.
Hello, Dan. Long time.
Let us know how we're sounding out there, guys. It's been a long time since I did a live stream from my YouTube channel. I've been on lots of live streams, but I haven't actually done one. I think you probably were the last person I actually done one with. To be honest with you, that was November.
That was in the summer. Yeah, late summer, I think it was.
Was it as long as that? Was it?
Yeah. You're like special guest appearing on all these channels now. You're like,
I know. Monkey's Emporium. In fact, actually, while we're on the subject, I'm actually on a live stream this Thursday. I'm gonna have to double check my phone, but
you've got to keep a diary. You got to keep a diary of all the appointments.
That's it, mate. So
I must say, well, Tom, I'm loving the beard.
Beard.
I'm loving it.
The beard game's quite strong, eh?
It's looking good. We've
got quite a few people in already. Mr. Matt Smith, how you doing, mate? All good. Like I mentioned, Mr. Dan Plastic's in the building. Adore Endure. How you doing? Mr. Rob, Tats and Toys. All good.
Right.
Colin's in. Peter, sounding good and looking good as ever. Thank you very much. You must be talking about me. You can't be talking about Big C. Right. Carlos, how you doing? Evening. We've got Badger Toys. Evening, buddy. We've got Mr. Enrique from America, Creative Bantha is in the building. Right, I'm going to come back to Mr. Dan's comment in a sec because we will talk about it. Scott's Comics and Collectibles. How you doing, Scott?
Evening.
Right, Chris, we've got much to discuss, and we have said that I would like to keep the program within an hour. I don't really want to go over 9 o'clock. If I do, a few minutes maybe. So, Mr. Dan Plastic has asked a question, and I was actually going to ask you about this. Me and you obviously are massive wrestling fans from probably 2006, I'm going to say. 2005.
I wouldn't even go as far as that. I'm nothing past 2000 really for me.
So he has asked, 1 second, where is it? He has asked Royal Rumble, our thoughts. Nah, I've watched.
All I heard was that for the week building up to it, they were teasing CM Punk, I think, coming back. I think that was the whole, and it turns out it was Edge.
Yeah. So, well, a few actually come back now. Anyone who's watching this who's banging to WWE, WWF, well, as we like to still call it. I watched. I'm going to say spoilers because it was only on last night, wasn't it? So it was only on last night. So I don't want to say spoilers, but anyone who watches and hasn't caught the Royal Rumble yet, I ain't watched it, but I do know. Yeah, Edge returned. Also, Carlito returned.
All right.
Christian returned.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And there was a ladies' Royal Rumble. I know Victoria, Gillian, Mickey James, a handful from the area that we were kind of into.
They're getting desperate. They're getting desperate now, aren't they?
Well, yeah. I don't want to. I mean, we don't watch it no more, do we? So, I mean, Dan said massive pop for the women's Rumble. The men's was a bag of shit. Again, I'm going to say a spoiler here. If you haven't watched it, Edge won it. I know as much as that. I know I haven't watched the Rumble. I just watched who was in it and who won it.
See, the trouble is where the position they're in now, they're having to bring out people who should be in retirement now, really. They're having to bring these people out because they're a bit of a name. And, what is that doing to the talent coming up that they do it year after year. The big events, they bring someone in who's on a part-time contract, they win it, and then they disappear again. And they have a pattern of doing that now. And if you're a young wrestler coming up, you just think to yourself, you know, when are you going to get a go? They're not giving anyone a chance to become a big name, because Lesnar, The Rock, Cena, Edge, they'll all just walk through the door and flatten the week in, week out people who are wrestling.
Goldberg, they brought back again.
Goldberg,
as well,
yeah, another one, yeah, Goldberg. You can't bring Goldberg back to win titles when you've got guys on the road 300 days a year.
I know it doesn't really make sense, to be honest.
You're not going to ever build names. And what's going to happen when these big stars can't do it anymore? They're not around anymore. What are they going to do?
Well, most of them ain't, to be honest with you. There's very few that are around. So, got a few more people in. Jamie Brown, how you doing? David Resells and Collects, how you doing, mate? All good. Mr. Kennan is in the building. Ken, how you doing? Fuzzy Buzzy Toys checking in. Haven't watched wrestling since Thunder Lips left.
Yeah. He hasn't seen it since the early 80s.
That was the early 80s, yeah. To be fair, it was a good. David said it was a good Royal Rumble. Oh yeah, Tori. Excuse me. Loads of chats are coming up, so I'm trying to keep up with them. Tori Wilson was another one that came back. I forgot. She looks pretty well. To be fair,
she's always looked pretty well, hasn't she?
Yeah. Mr. Dan Platt. Dan said, I generally was ready to give up watching if Oldberg won last night.
Yeah, I
he's
agree with that.
I know.
You can't. I don't see how they're going to survive with what they're doing. You know, it surprised me if they did have him to win last night. But
well, I heard he was due to win the belt, and loads of, because I mean, you're in a few of the wrestling groups, and people are really kicking off about it. I mean, you're right. You're exactly right. I mean, Future, like Fred's put here, Future's looking shaky in terms of big name attractions.
I mean, Goldberg couldn't wrestle 25 years ago. So
no.
You can't, what are you going to get out of him in his 50s?
I thought when he was in WCW, I thought he was just an attraction, wasn't he? But we say it. Yeah. Ultimate Warrior was the same. No, Ultimate Warrior
exactly
was an attraction.
Look,
he couldn't wrestle.
The guys with no talent, it's about going in there, bulldozing people in 30 seconds. And as long as you do that, that is what people come to see.
Squash matches. That's what it is.
You're never going to build big matches with other big stars because they're not going to be able to work. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, I think. I don't know, mate. We don't watch it no more.
Listen, they put Goldberg in with Bret Hart, and he ended Bret Hart's career. It says it all.
It does indeed. Yeah, we got some more people. C-Moles, evening. Yeah, quite a lot have passed away. Talking about the wrestlers, lots from our era have certainly passed away.
I mean, I've got shelves behind me, Tom. I've got shelves behind me just full of dead people.
Unfortunately, so have I, mate. So we're both in the same boat.
And I find that it's always the best ones that are dead.
Indeed, mate. Indeed. You definitely missed the live crowds at the arenas for these main events. But yeah, it's the same as football, really, ain't it? To be honest with you, it's the same as football. There's no crowd. It's a bit. It's shit. It is hard at the minute for.
That's why there were fans online all week that I was seeing on YouTube. Like people were really getting excited about CM Punk coming back, and I thought he is not going to come back with no crowds.
He's not going to come back anyway. I've seen some of the stuff that he's been tweeting and that.
If he did, Tom, he's going to want to come back at WrestleMania with 70,000 people there.
Of course.
Do it in an empty studio.
This is it. Dan said if AEW buys Impact, they would be serious rival to the WWE, young talent, and they let the wrestlers guide their own storylines. I mean, AEW, me and you haven't really been watching it. We're going to move on to, we've got a little something that we want to show everyone in a bit. Yeah. Talking of AEW, because it's effectively AEW now. I've seen a lot of people watching it, and people are really enjoying AEW. I think they've got a mixture of old guys, obviously old guys from WWE, and quite a lot of young up and coming talent.
Be interesting to see what Dan thinks about this, because obviously he's a wrestling man. What I think the problem with today's wrestling is, and when I sit down and I see bits of AEW as well, it's all too colourful and clean, and too many electronic, laser shows and the pyrotechnics. Like it's all too much going on. I think you've lost a little bit the nitty gritty of wrestling, which should just be a ring in an arena. Do you know what I mean? All the technology now around it, and like the show and all the big digital screens and all this mad stuff going on.
Yeah, the Attitude Era, there was no wrestling at all.
Yeah,
there wasn't hardly any. It was all. It was entertainment. That's what it was. It was entertainment.
I just think they've made too much like a colourful TV show.
Yeah, like I say, I went. Carlos said WWE surviving by big NBC $1 billion deal they recently did.
You know, these contracts come up for renewal, and the numbers that they're doing at the moment, you know, you'd be very surprised if they could get a similar contract again, unless something, you know, changes.
Spear, jackhammer. That's what Dan said. That's literally all he had in his arsenal, didn't he? Really, Mr. Goldberg. Yeah, unfortunately. Scott said he can see Tony buying Impact, as in Tony Khan. It is AEW. Yeah,
Fulham as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that we were just talking about that, weren't we? Screech from Saved by the Bell passed away, 44. Yeah, just recently an ad, quite sad. Dobbs fan, big up Pizarro. How you doing? Brad B skating, evening chaps. CM Punk's working on a TV show with Stephen Amell. That's the guy who played Arrow, wasn't it? He was in Arrow, played Green Arrow. Mr. Dan, totally agree with Big C. Give me Benoit, Rude, Savage. Give me actual man-on-man beef. That came out wrong. Peter says that came out right. El Tender, how you doing, buddy? What's up? What's up? He is working. Right, before we go any further, Chris, while we're just on the subject of AEW, you had a little incident recently that you got super excited about. Now, guys, I'm going to show you a little clip. I was testing it before we went live, and I'm not entirely sure if the sound's going to come out. We were. Let me just share it for you guys. Share, and then Chris can talk about it after. Hopefully the sound comes through. If not, you can see on the screen what's going on. I mean, I can't hear the sound. Can you?
Yeah, I can't hear that.
No. Okay. I don't think the sound's come through. And the people that are watching live might have heard it. Let us know, guys, if you could hear the sound on that video. In any case, let me just shut this. Stop sharing. There we go. Guys, I don't know if the sound come out. Let us know if the sound on that video come out. I don't think it did. But in any case, Big C, you're Chris Jericho's mate, basically, now, aren't you?
Yeah. So if that could be heard there, you could see that obviously I've made a comment on a Facebook live chat they were having about a story they were telling. So my question, and obviously what it's like in them live chats, you've got a couple of thousand people watching. You put your comment down and like you wouldn't find it again. It's just like bang, 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 these live chats. And for some reason they pulled that one out and they're having a good laugh over it, weren't they? Enjoying themselves.
There wasn't no sound. A few of the guys have commented and said there weren't no sound. I don't know why. But yeah, so you got to ask a question, and Mr. Jericho read your question out, and you got super excited, and that's made your 2021 basically.
What got me excited was how entertained they were over it, and they didn't give anyone else's the time of day, but they picked up a good old chuckle. They did enjoy it. It's a shame, obviously, it can't be heard because that was good stuff.
No, that's good. Yeah, apologies, guys. Like I said, it's been a little while since I did a live stream. I did pull when we was on last time. I did pull a video across because you remember one of the videos you did was when you ripped open the Hasbro Mr. Perfect figure.
Yeah,
and that had sound on it. So I'll have to have a little look into that because the sound seems to be working on the laptop, but it doesn't. It's not coming across into the stream. So. Chris, Mr. Big C, let's talk about toys. Let's talk about collecting and what's going on. 2021. So 2020 wasn't a particularly, I want to say, strong year probably for yourself with regards to collecting. You kind of took a bit of a back step with it, didn't you? You calmed down.
Yeah, but I find myself, I'm either the sort of man who's doing £500 a month on toys, or I'll have a couple of months where I won't spend anything. I'm a bit impulsive, I think, when it comes to buying toys. So I have binges.
Mm.
You know,
So yeah, we know this because one minute you'll be buying 8, 10, 12 WWE elites, and then you go missing for.
yeah, but one thing I wanted to say, obviously, to people watching and stuff, I don't know if anyone else ever experienced this, but I've been speaking to you about it. How I've got to a point now where I'm a bit disillusioned with collecting the wrestling.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I want to put my focus somewhere else and obviously build, another collection. I'm not into, obviously, you guys. A lot of you guys in the community, you've got museums, like you've got whole rooms in your house dedicated to. You might be interested in 20 different things. I mean, you're spending at the moment something like Machine Gun. You're just eating everything at the moment. So become a bit disillusioned with the wrestling. Do you know what I'm getting sick of, Tom? How all these special releases that Mattel are doing for the Americans and that we don't get over here. I mean, how can you in a toy line where the best of it is released in another country exclusively, but they won't give it to us? And you have to pay extra. I mean, Greg the Hammer is one of those legends. And he cost me £80 to get in. The £20 figure has cost me £80.
Yeah, we've said it before about the Walmart and the Target exclusives and the ringside collectible exclusives with WWE. I don't understand, and I know a lot of collectors who collect wrestling figures or new wrestling figures probably say the same thing. I wouldn't mind, but there's a market here for it.
The problem, I get what's happening. So Mattel, Walmart and Target, the biggest outlets for Mattel in terms of selling toys. And they've obviously done a deal where they want exclusive figures so they can guarantee the market can only come to them in America. So I get that exclusivity in America when you get Walmart and Target exclusives, right? What I don't understand is that Walmart don't sell to us. We can't buy from Target or Walmart. So they don't need exclusivity in this country. Do you see what I'm saying? They haven't got the market. So why can't those exclusives be exclusive through their big American customers, but why can't we also get them through a distributor? Because what's happening is you're getting scalped by the American on eBay selling them to you. You've then got to pay the shipping to get it across, and that mad tax eBay applies. So before you know it, a £20 figure has become an £80 figure to get.
Well, that tax, that customs and all that was already there from America.
I know.
But now we've got it from Europe as well because of Brexit. Not that I import anything from Europe anyway, but any collectors out there who are buying from Italy, Germany, France, Spain, you're going to get hit with, unless it's under £30 or something, you're going to get hit with 20% VAT. It's double hard for a collector, but there is some good news in regards to that from what I'm hearing, and it may be massive for people like me and you because we do like a lot of stuff from America. So a lot of stuff I've been reading and the news I've been watching is that the UK, when I say us in the UK, are set to hopefully be doing trade deals with several countries that maybe in the toy world are probably not going to be too relevant. So Australia, New Zealand, Japan's one of them, though. And there's a couple of other things, and Japan would be huge for this country with regards to that, especially for people, for me, with things like kaiju and all that sort of stuff.
I mean, what's
that?
We don't. Yeah, you toy wise and stuff. I mean, you don't really ever get anything from Australia, do you?
No. But from what I'm hearing, though, that it is potentially going to open for America as well. So could you imagine if the whole of Europe will potentially be you got to pay 20% VAT or whatever it is, but if America open, the floodgates would absolutely open in the UK. You would just be seeing thousands and thousands of toys that we don't really see that much of over here, like your Walmart, your Target's exclusives and all that. It would just be getting pumped over it on a mad.
Trouble is going back to the elite business, like you say. Yeah, if that was to open up. But you're still dealing with American scalpers. You still physically can't do that transaction yourself direct.
Guess so.
Can you go on collecting a toy line like that? Do it. They obviously don't really. They're not really considering the British collectors, are they?
Talking of elites and Americans and stuff. I'm under the impression, I don't know how true it is. Someone's just mentioned that they think they might block it because of copyright with regards to the Jericho video. I don't know. Not sure. Maybe it doesn't matter anyway. You that was your little 30 seconds of fame, and it's gone now. I flushed it down the toilet.
Yeah. To be fair, when you put it like that, it does make that video sound pretty crap, doesn't it? Rubbish videos.
The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. Now I'm
Yeah.
hearing that he's an exclusive to over here. Is that true, or you're not entirely sure?
I don't believe that's true. He's just come as a standard elite release.
Yeah, I know, but from what I'm seeing in
Who's saying that?
America, well, I've seen a couple of posts saying he's not available over here.
Tell you what, if we've got a figure exclusively over here that the Americans can't get, I'll eat my own pants.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense being a British Bulldog. He is.
Do you remember when they did that UK, a couple of years back, they did that first UK wrestling tournament and then we got a UK champion. I forget what his name was. Tyler or something, was it?
What, the one that was on telly?
Yeah. Remember Triple H come over? There's a big thing around this UK title.
Yeah, yeah.
This little blonde-headed guy, he won it and he was the UK champion. And they released him as an elite exclusive over here. And I just thought to myself, that is the best we're ever going to get in terms of exclusives.
Who are you talking about? You're not talking about Pete Dunne, are you? Is it Pete Dunne?
No. So a couple of years
there was
ago,
an exclusive of him, wasn't there?
Yeah. So basically, a couple of years ago, they just did this UK championship tournament, the WWE, to find a UK champion. And this little blonde-haired guy, I forget his name, he won it. And we got an exclusive figure of him. And I thought, well, this time we ever get one American.
It was that good that everyone knew about it. So David World Toys, evening guys. Mr. C, what do you collect? So obviously Dave's probably not seen previous videos of you. Do you want to quickly elaborate?
Yeah, David, so basically it's WWE predominantly, but now obviously I've started to branch into other bits and pieces, which obviously I've been speaking to Tom about. Do you want to break the news about, because people find this a little bit strange, wouldn't they, what I've started to dabble in?
Yeah, so we did say we were going to discuss it, and we've got plenty of time. We've got like 40 minutes or so, it's 35 minutes. So it is strange. Now, I'm not in the I'm not in the game. Anyone who watches my channel and follows me on social media for the years knows that I'm not big on Funkos.
Sorry. Do you know what? I did some research before we did this video again, because obviously I wanted to pull you up on a couple of things, because you tend to give it out a little bit. Say you don't like Funkos. There's a video that I watched the other day from 2018 where you're sitting there as proud as anything and you had 4 Gremlin Funko Pops.
I had 4 what?
4 Gremlin Funko Pops.
No, I've got 2. I've got 3. I've got 4.
Your mum got you one. There was the green one. Listen, you had them all lined up, and I just thought you were raving on about Funko this, Funko that, and I just thought to myself, that is a man.
Listen, bitch, yeah, you're on my channel now, yeah. Don't be starting, yeah. I have got 4 Funkos, Gremlins ones, but I just said I don't collect Funkos, and I don't believe in all the big hype about them. And now we're going to talk about what you're collecting, and I think a lot of people. How many people we got in? We got about 30 people in. I reckon there's a handful of people watching this who will probably think it's quite unusual. Your room's gone really dark. Have you got another light in there?
No, see, this is the main light.
Let me just quickly go through these. Mr. Rob, me and Tom cleaning up.
The way that Emma lights the lighting in here, like I say, it just always looks like a dungeon. We've got these mad lampshades on our lights. It's unbelievable.
Evening, P. I'm just going to go through these messages before we jump onto your thing. Fred, same issues with Transformers. Hasbro Pulse has some great releases not available here. They'd make a killing if they did it here. All these toy companies would make a killing here, wouldn't they?
Stop collecting Transformers. Knock it on the head. Punish them.
I know. So if only it would work like that for us plastic crap collectors, eh? Dan said might make Japanese toys cheaper. Would hope so. David World Toys, Tyler Bate. Is that the
Tyler
guy?
Bate? I knew it was Tyler. I knew it was Tyler something. But yeah, like I say, that's we got that as an exclusive. So you don't even know.
I do kind of know who he is, but yeah, Craig gets a fair bit from the US. I'm thinking he might be talking about Craig from Nerdbase, the shop. Nick, hi Tom and Big C. How you doing? How you doing? Scott agrees with me. Oh no, not Pops. And then Kenan, Mr. Ken. Tom's a secret Funko and Star Wars lover.
Yeah, this is the thing. So Funkos, I absolutely hate them when you make this big deal about it, and it's like, oh yeah, I've got 4.
Don't make a big deal about it. But listen, what I was trying to get to, is that I'm not in the game of slagging off people's collections. I believe people should collect what they're into. regardless of what I believe it is or what other people believe it is. And in that, I said the same about Funkos. I don't like them, but just because I don't like them, don't mean I'm going to slag every Funko collector off. And this is the same with you. We're going to talk in a second about what your focus, one of your focuses is at the minute. Just going through these messages now. Well, bloody hell's a long message. Carlos, I'm a Nine Inch Nails fan, singer, composer, Disney source. Target had a crystal clear vinyl exclusive. I had to pick it up. Cost me like $16 on eBay. They're going for double that. That's just the way it is. The world's going at the minute. So trying to get the exclusive Smiths Undertaker Funko, but it's sold out. I didn't even know Smiths did it. I know there's a Randy Savage one at the minute because it popped up on my feed the other day. Third party Transformers need to be licensed. They're amazing. They're like the knockoff ones that Rob's talking about. What's trying to get an exclusive? Oh, right, that's the same message. Oh, it's come out twice. So let me try and bring this picture up of where are we? Share screen. Oh, it's not. I'm gonna have to open it in the background. There it is. Let's try again.
This is the picture you're going to show. It's a bad example because this is like mid to late 90s.
Right.
Action.
Listen, let me just say one thing. Right. I was never into Action Man, period. I was never into Action Man or G.I. Joe or anything in the 80s.
Yeah.
I certainly weren't into it in the 90s. By the time this came out in this sort of stuff in 92, 93,
yeah.
I was into probably in 93, 94, I was probably into the Toy Biz stuff. So X-Men, Spider-Man, all that sort of stuff. For a couple of years, I was loving that. This stuff passed me. I wasn't interested at all. Now, you, and I've said this to you before about this stuff because I've seen it at the boot sales and it always gets passed. There's a lot of toy guys who will not touch this stuff. And you started collecting this. Discuss.
Yeah. So I think growing up through the 80s, Action Man stopped in the early 80s, but we used to go to my nan's house and my mum's brother, my uncle, he had boxes and boxes of, Action Man from the 70s and 60s and 70s. So as kids, we were always around it. We always used to play with them when we were around there. And then by the time we got to the early 90s, I was about 8 or 9. This was the last sort of toy line for a couple of years that I ever really was involved in. And where I had a couple of younger brothers, they were also into Action Man as well. When they re-released in the early 90s, they brought them back. And yeah, it was the last toy line me and my brothers all enjoyed together before, we grew out of toys. And I just thought to myself, it's quite niche, really.
Right. It's not only is it niche, considering because there was tons of this around. Like, yeah, I've seen it so many times at boot sale. I've got you a couple of bits before a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is that some of the stuff you're buying is not cheap. Like, we're not talking about £10, £15 figures.
Let me break it down for you. So I'm only interested in getting the ones that me and my brothers owned between us as kids in that 92, 93 to like 94, 95 period. I'm good, and like I say, I've got 3 on order already, which I showed you. They're not that expensive, Tom. You think they're 25 years old, 26 years old, some of them, and they're in boxes sealed, and you're looking at between 30 and 50 quid.
I could look.
I know. Yeah, he doesn't appreciate it, Dan, does he? Look, I think
you're better than. Go on.
The community, all everyone, the Toy Division guys, you guys, the people I've met, through all this, through yourself. Everyone's toy collecting is based on like pop culture. Action Man was a toy. It was just an out and out toy. There was nothing behind it other than this is a genuine toy. And I think if we're toy collectors, what are we? Toy collectors or pop culture lovers?
Or both go hand in hand. Listen, like I said to you, I'm not going to sit here.
Yeah, look.
Like I say, it's not for me to say. Like, I've always said it, and I did a video on YouTube about 2 years ago, and I was like, it's got quite a few views and a lot of comments. And one of the videos I did was, why do we collect? So, like, when I say why do we collect, when I say we, is a broad thing, like as in the people that are watching this channel, people that. All, not just toys, I'm just talking about in general. And one of the things I always said in the video is that you should collect what you like. Don't follow trend, which is exactly what you're doing. You're not following trend. And because I said, if I followed trend, if I wanted to be a sheep, this room would be full of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's not. Clearly, there's,
but to be fair, it is full of everything else, isn't it? But Star Wars.
Everything else but Star Wars, yeah. But
yeah.
there's no. But what I'm saying is that Star Wars is the biggest franchise when it comes to toy collecting and pricing and everything else. Star Wars is the biggest one. I just never was into it, to be fair.
Because I know you've got a decent collection of this stuff. Changing the subject a little bit. So if Godzilla and King Kong have a fight, who are you backing? Because
come on, look. You got to be serious. It's coming out in a couple of months. I can't wait. I'm so gassed about it, to be honest with you. But we've got to be serious. Like Godzilla's got like atomic blast breath. I don't know. I like Kong, and I think everyone's.
I'm not saying who could win physically. Who's got the better attributes? Where is your heart at?
Where is what?
Who do you back? Where is your heart at? Who's your man? Who do you want to win that?
Godzilla. I love Godzilla and Kong, but in the 80s when I was growing up, Godzilla was introduced to me first. So, and there's been a lot more Godzilla films than there has Kong. Do you know what I mean? There's only been a handful of King Kong films. Obviously, the classic from '33.
Bond with Godzilla a bit more, isn't you?
What's that?
You've been able to bond with Godzilla a bit more.
That's it. That's exactly it, mate. That's exactly it. So, a couple more things here. Carlos said Mr. Miyogi can take him out. Just saying. I'm presuming he's talking about the Action Man that we had up.
Yeah.
Dan saying he's only messing. Collect what makes you happy. We've said that, obviously. You might be onto something before it goes stupid prices. You could be. You could be.
Great point. Just think in 10 years' time, you don't know what the market's going to do on that sort of thing. It'll be another 10 years older, and you'll have people that were young collecting them in the 90s that will now be of an age where they want to start doing exactly what we're doing.
Scott said Kong. Collins just said, go for it, Big C. Back in the 80s, people took the piss out of him for collecting Star Wars toys. Now look at them. Look at that market now. Exactly. Nick said, guys, I started collecting Action Man after Hasbro's. This is because you literally couldn't get Hasbro figures you wanted. It wasn't until early 2000s I started recollecting WWF Hasbro's. See? I think people play. I think people... Exactly there was money there because... There must have been money there because they made so many different Action Mans. Like, even I know, and I wasn't into it. You got Action Man in like navy suits, in all different suits. Do you know what I mean?
So, what Nick's saying there is exactly what happened to me. Basically, by the time I was with the Hasbro's, and by 92, 93, I was in my last couple of years of being able to play with toys as an 8, 9-year-old, and I went on to Action Man from them as well. Yeah, from Hasbro's.
No, that's good.
Follow the same way.
Evening Dark Lycan, Baz. So if any of you guys, like it's got at the bottom, if any of you guys have got, if you want to ask Big C or myself any questions, feel free. We're going to be here for about another 30 minutes or so. Also, so WWE Elites, Action Man, but we're also talking now Kenner Terminator.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think once I'm done with the Action Man, there's probably about 2 or 3 vehicle sets I want to get, and perhaps about maybe 15 of the figures that I want to get. Once I've got them, I want to move on to, I want to see if I can get the Kenners on card. I think there's 12 figures, I think.
And you want to try and steal my talking Terminator off me as well, didn't you?
That as well. I'd like that.
He's down here. He's next to Kong on the floor down there. Yeah.
You need to free up some space, don't you?
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll see how we go. I actually quite like him, although he had been in the boot of my car for X amount of time. I completely forgot about him, and he still works as well. Works.
I've got some Migos that you posted for me.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I've just posted 6. Is it? Was it 6 or 8?
6
Migos. Yeah.
You would never have done 8 for the price you did them for.
Who was it again? Freddy, Frankenstein's monster, Dracula, the Wolfman. Not. I can never say it. Nosferatu.
Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger, yeah, and I can't remember now. The 6th one was. Oh, Invisible Man. That's it. Invisible Man. Yeah. So all good. Matt Smith. Yeah, I'm hearing all the 90s toy prices are increasing. That's the next big thing. Next thing. which I'm happy about because the 80s toys will start coming down in price. So you'd like to think so. I mean, the thing is, we've said this before, haven't we, about 80s toys? There's that limited market in regards to age, with regards to like me and yourself are 31 now. No, me and you are 37 now. So there's that age gap of maybe between 80s kids between 30 and mid 40s. Some are in late 40s, guys who were quite young in the early 80s. But once you get to that, once that phase passes, no one's going to. I want to say I don't like to think, but no one's really going to be interested in 80s toys. Surely you're not going to get the 15, 20-year-olds now wanting to buy He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and Mask from the 80s, surely.
But to be fair, more and more people, two things could happen. It's either going to die out as the people get older and become a bit more forgotten about, or people that haven't jumped to the 80s stuff in their 30s that they had, get to their 40s and a new batch of people jump across and start wanting to get into the 80s again. Because don't forget, there's plenty of people that had these toys that aren't collectors at the moment. In 10 years' time, they could get the bug.
Well, we've said it before as well. It's a lot of the time it's a financial thing, ain't it? So there's a lot of people that in their early 30s who end up in quite good jobs and then become financially stable. So that's where the bug comes from. I don't want to say, oh yeah, when you get to your 30s as well, you calm down a little bit from your 20s, because in your 20s you were probably out partying and everything. And now I don't even drink. I mean, I've not had a drink for 18 months, but the thought of it takes me 2 days to recover, and I'd much rather spend my money on a couple of NECA figures, if I'm honest with you, these days. So
I remember when I used to sleep 2 nights a week.
Yeah, you're finished now, mate. You're finished.
Yeah.
Mint in boxes, Master Toy Museum. That's the biggest collection I've seen. Check out his channel. I'll have to have a little look at that.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. He's the American guy. I've not
seen it. I don't watch too much YouTube.
You obviously, like basically he's got like a toy room, and he calls it a toy museum, and he's got all sorts of different things in there. And yeah, he's got a lot of Action Man in there.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. I think I might have seen it. I think I might have actually seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Rob said his hair went up when you mentioned Terminator. You know, Rob loves Terminator, doesn't he?
Yeah, I do love Terminator.
I'm a big fan as well. Scott said he wants to see your Action Man collection. Kenner on card. You need to move now on them.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry, Terminator.
Yeah, they're going up in price. So when telling me, they were 10, 15 quid on the card like a year or so ago, 2 years ago. Yeah. Now, someone had all 12 and they wanted 300 quid for them on eBay.
Yeah, I think that's we call it COVID tax.
Yeah, but individually, Tom, now they're asking for like 50 quid. I think it's up to about 50 quid a card.
Oh, you just buy your time, mate. You won't need to pay that. Like I said, that's just crazy prices.
£100 a card.
Matt said Terminator Kenner as well. Kenner Terminator is probably one of the better toy lines from the early 90s, if I'm honest with you. I certainly remember some of them.
On the face of it, let's be fair. If you were looking back without nostalgia, you'd say, they're shit.
Oh, I mean, I've got a couple of loose ones up there and a carded one. They're not the greatest figure, but it's you're right. It's very much the cards are great on them.
Where his bum turns into a rocket launcher.
I haven't, not that one. No, I haven't. So, Drew working. Any thoughts on Food Fighters or Barnyard Commandos? They kind of passed me, if I'm honest with you. I remember seeing them in the shops in the 90s, but it wasn't anything I was ever interested in. They always seemed to be one of them toys that was ended up in the pound basket, because it was one that they ended up just sitting on the shelves.
Can I bring out what I found, which is obviously like a new pickup?
Go on.
New pickup. Did anyone, obviously, how popular were these in the 90s? That's Rich. The goalkeeper,
Kovacevic.
You even got the bent nose there, look. But I tell you what, did you have these, Tom?
Yeah, I used to have them. Yeah, I had them.
I used to work in a paper shop, and as soon as I used to go out the back and that, me and my mates, we were literally nicking boxes of them. Huge boxes of them stacked up in the paper shop, even at a young age. Toys.
I remember the old Corinthians. Do you remember Food Fighters and Barnyard Commandos?
No, no.
Yeah, they were like the food fighters were like you'd get like a slice of pizza in like an army.
You know what? It does ring a bell. It does.
Yeah, and then you had like donuts, and they were all like army guys. They're getting quite they're niche, definitely a niche toy line, but they're quite popular. And they've gone up quite a bit in price as well. I mean, I remember going to America a few years ago. You'd see them loose for like $5, $8, and no one was really interested. But they've seen again, it's one of them '90s toy lines where I think it's just crept up a little bit. David resells and collects just like football cards. A couple of years ago, you could have got a Cristiano Ronaldo card next to nothing. Now some of the prices are very, very high. I know some of these football cards, like the match attacks and all that, some of them are going for crazy money.
Just like Pokemon.
Oh, listen, I'm not even getting into Pokemon, mate. It makes me feel sick. Dark like, and would you collect Transformers? Probably to you, Big C, because I've already got a Transformers collection. Would you collect Transformers?
No, not really.
No interest to you?
I do like them, and I remember it growing up and stuff. But I think like I was a little bit towards the late '80s before I had any recollection of Toylands. I think Transformers really was about massive in the mid '80s, wasn't it? So I probably just missed out on that. My first Toyland was Thundercats. So no, I haven't really got any sort of tie to Transformers, to be fair.
That's the thing. I think a lot of the time you have to have a little bit of the tie, the connection from when you were like from when you can remember.
See, I've got no affiliation to He-Man. I never owned a He-Man toy because I was the oldest out of my brothers. I wasn't born till '84. So by the time I was, into toys and action figures, you're looking at '87, '88. Well, He-Man had come out in '83. I remember the cartoon and stuff. I used to see the cartoon, but in terms of the toys, didn't have them.
See, I was lucky. I had an older brother, didn't I? So I had all the hand-me-downs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In my house, I gave out the hand-me-downs.
You were the oldest one, yeah.
Yeah.
Scott's food fighter prices. Was that your cat? I just see.
That's my cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Prices are too high now. But we've got. I don't see vintage Star Wars prices coming down. Yeah, I don't think Star Wars will ever come down because it's still there. It's out there still. You've got shows like The Mandalorian. They've got all these new TV shows. They've got all the animated cartoons like the Clone Wars and all that. I think Star Wars will always be there, to be honest with you. The problem is if there's no TV shows, there's no cartoons, there's no films coming out.
Yeah,
a lot of these franchises have the tendency to just die. See, like He-Man's got 2 new cartoons coming out on Netflix, 2 completely different cartoons over the next.
But that doesn't. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that people are going to run to eBay. Kids of today aren't going to run to eBay trying to get an action figure of He-Man from 1983.
No, of course not. Of course not. Doesn't mean that. No, I think Transformers is another one. No, Transformers has kept.
For me, Star Wars, 2 things are going to happen. It's either going to plateau and stay as it is in terms of price and can't really go much higher than they are, or the prices will get higher and higher and higher to a point where it will be killed, the collecting eventually further down the line, because all these things will end up in private rich people's collections, and it will kill it. Do you know what I mean? For the mainstream to buy and sell in the vintage ones, I think.
We've got a lot of questions, mate. Let's get through some. Peter, when does the trend swing from vintage toys to pop culture collectibles in general, i.e., video game, action figures, etc.?
Well, I think that, like I say, most pop culture generates toys. I think, in general, so successful programs, successful films, successful cartoons, they will spawn merchandise, and that's what majority of the industry is eating up.
It's all I mean, most of the '80s, all the '80s toy lines came from successful cartoons, didn't they? So
you look at this is what I'm saying about the Action Man. So where the trend changes, there's very few Barbie. There's very few toys that are out and out toys that are part of pop culture without actually having any substance behind them in terms of a TV program. Don't get me wrong, years and years and years of these things build in popularity. They will bring out TV programs and films associated with these, but they started off as toys ultimately. For many years.
We got many to catch up on, mate. Let's try and fly through these. Ken said he knows 30-year-olds that are collecting G1, Transformers, and Star Wars. That's not good for us because that means the prices are still with the same for another decade or 2. I think shows like the Toys That Made Us Richer entice a younger crowd into the old school plastic goodness. That is true. I don't know if you've seen them.
I agree. That will do that. But then you got to understand, like, would you want to collect toys your dad had, Tom?
I wouldn't know.
Generations toys?
I wouldn't want to collect them. God knows what my dad played with.
My dad, they grew up with toys. Would you want to own some of the things they were playing with in the 50s and 60s and that? Would you?
Yeah, but it depends though, isn't it? Because now, for example, if you're you obviously you got kids, but just say you're a 30-year-old or 35-year-old dad, and you've got a kid who's like 15. You had a kid when you was 20, and your dad's got this fantastic Star Wars collection. Star Wars is everywhere, so so some kids might look at it and go, "Oh yeah, it's trendy, it's cool, or whatever." I mean, the majority of kids now, a lot of kids can't really see past an iPad or a PlayStation. Unfortunately, that's just the way the generation is. But there are going to be kids out there. I mean, I see kids at toy shows. I see youngsters, big Pokemon card collectors have come to my stall, and some guys who buy from me, who are older like dads, their sons are into He-Man. You've got the new He-Man Origin figures are out in the shops. You've got all the new Transformers. So I know it's got to carry on because it's I want it to carry on. We want it to carry on because otherwise it ends up fucking dying, doesn't it? So
the toy industry now is going down the road of adult collectors.
I agree.
It's the main audience now.
I agree. As long as Hollywood keep remaking movies, the toys will keep to value.
Yeah, right. You're right.
I'd probably agree with that. Kevin, how you doing? Hi everyone. What's your thoughts on grading figures? Is it worth it? Me personally, not for me. I'll give you a couple of examples. Look, do I believe that putting something in a plastic case and having it preserved for X amount of years? Yes. Do I agree with the way it's done and the pricing and the way people charge it? No. There's several factors why. One is I could be a grader. Why can't I grade toys? Why can't I grade action figures? I've been collecting since 1990, and I probably, no disrespect to graders or anything, but I probably know as much as these guys. Now, we know, because you watch his channel as well, Toy Polloy done a video on grading, and he caught them out because he opened the figure that it had been graded. I think he resent it back, and it came back with a higher grade.
Yeah, he got a different score, didn't he? Yeah, I saw that video.
It's ridiculous.
He-Man and the Star Wars figure, I think it was. He did.
Yeah, he did. I think he did a Skeletor, didn't he? And he did a Gamorrean guard, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now, the only problem is as well. The one thing I don't like is, for example, you could get a £15 Thundercats figure. Just say, for example, a complete Thundercats. Say a Jackalman. Yeah. So Jackalman's £15. I'll go and get him graded. Now, to grade a loose action figure, some guys might in the comments might know, but I believe it's probably about £30 to grade a loose, complete action figure like a Thundercat. So in theory, the value of that Jackalman figure has gone from 15 to maybe £50. But then you've got people who are asking £150. Now, how? I could go get a mint Jackalman figure or whatever. I'm just giving that figure as an example. I could go get a mint figure for £15 with his figure, and I could go get it graded. Why am I going to pay £150 for a graded one? What? Because it scored 80, 85. I think it's a bit of a fake and a false market. The comic industry, again, I think comics should be preserved, especially like ones from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and that. Without that, I just think it's a con, though. I just think it's a bit of a piss take myself. I haven't got anything graded in my collection. I don't know. It's just a little bit funny with that one, to be honest with you. Nick, do you guys think if toys stay relevant, as in Star Wars, WWF and that, the toys that don't will become less collectible and not worth as much? What do you think on that?
It's a difficult one to answer.
I think sometimes, I'll be honest with you, I think
deep down it is a little bit difficult to give an answer to that. You just don't know, do you?
I believe, though, because if you look now, just give the 80s as an example, the toy lines in the 80s that were, well, I'm not going to say not relevant, because to me all the toys were relevant, but the ones that were less relevant, You had all the big hitters. You had He-Man, Thundercats, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, Mask. And then you had like the toy lines like Visionaries and even like Brave Star and Supernaturals, the small toy lines that weren't as popular that ended up in the 99p bins that I like to call them. Some of them toys are going for very big money. Like the carded Visionary figures are going for really big money. So I don't think stuff will become less collectible, because what will happen is the market will shrink. The market will shrink, or the availability of these items will shrink. And then what happens is that you're not going to get 10,000 people looking for a Visionaries Leoric figure, whereas you would maybe for a certain Darth Vader figure. The market's so small. So I think sometimes situations like that end up pumping the value up on these particular toy lines because of that, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think popularity drives ultimately popularity. The more people that want something that has obviously a limited supply because it's not made anymore and there's only so much out there, your popularity will ultimately drive the prices. So if these things are sought after and these things are still popular, then the answer to the question is you would like to think that it's going to hold its value or go up, providing that popularity is still there.
Definitely. David World Toys, do you think it's down to the toy company bringing old toys back out? And
I think they're missing an opportunity. I don't think they've been very successful, these companies at doing it.
I'll be honest with you though as well, some of the stuff that's come out is garbage. Like some of it's really shit.
Think of some of the classic re-releases that if they were to do, how popular and how big they would be. I mean, the Star Wars, the Ghostbusters ones. Well, they made a complete palaver in the way they were being shipped. So everyone was kicking off about the damaged cards. They had to do a reprint of the cards, didn't they? Because they didn't have permission to use something. So a batch got out and they had to change it.
No, a lot of people didn't like them as well because they had multilingual languages on them, didn't they? On the Ghostbusters.
Yeah, so there was changes to the card from the original, that was going to come out. And yeah, I just think these companies are making a mess out of a massive opportunity to capitalize on all the re-release stuff, all the retro stuff. Release it carbon copy like for like and make a big deal that you're doing it and get people, get some hype around it. But
not just that either. It's like some of the lines, like they just seem to be like, I mean, how many? I love He-Man, I love Masters of the Universe and that, but how many more toys of He-Man are we going to see? Like different variations. In the last few years, you had the classics and you had several versions of the classics. Then they brought the vintage. The cartoon looking versions out.
Yeah.
Now you got the origin figures.
Which are basically re-releases of the original figures.
No, the origin figures are a bit more articulated. They're okay. They look nice. I'm not saying they don't, but I don't know. It's hard to keep up. If you're like I want to get everything in every toy line or whatever. If you're a massive He-Man collector, I mean, if you're a Star Wars collector, you're in for it, aren't you? You're never gonna be able to keep up.
Star Wars figures released in terms of
I don't know.
3 point from across all the films. Is there a number of releases? Does anyone know that? Does it go into the thousands?
I would have thought so. Mate. It's crazy. Don't like it. He's a 6-year-old wants Mask toys. You know what? Mask is one of the ones I'm surprised they haven't re-released because Thingy own them, didn't they? Hasbro own them. I believe it's I think Hasbro do own them.
But the trouble is, like you say, you run the risk now in the next couple of years. No one. The demand might die for this stuff, and why aren't Hasbro releasing Mask stuff? Capitalize how many people would eat it.
I'm gonna start flying through these. You can give we can give some yay or nay answers, yeah. Like Bed's Calling and all that. Scott's Comic and Collectibles. Kenner Alien, Beetlejuice, Toy Biz Marvel from the 90s. I do Informed Toys at the moment. I can't believe the price of the Toy Biz lines. Well, everyone knows that I know my Toy Biz. I mean, I must have sold 500 of them over the last few years. So
notice the prices are creeping up as the years go up. So we're now stuff 91, 92, 93 that is all worth the money that a couple of years ago the 80s stuff was,
Yeah, 100%. Cole's Beyond the Toy Channel. Thundercats were cool. Thundercats
love Thundercats.
Very cool. C-Moles. People like Origins. So I personally think when people get into future lines, they will eventually want the original versions. I think 80s toys are pretty unique because of pop culture relationships. Can't disagree with that, to be honest with you.
True.
Definitely not. Scott, I remember buying the original Star Wars figures from Tesco's in the early 80s and vintage. Scott, you must be a bit older than me then, mate.
Well, but to be fair, my mum goes on, like, in the supermarket in the 80s, you couldn't even get your milk in there. You had to go to a milkman and people going into Tesco pulling out Star Wars toys in there.
I know. I remember my mum, she always says to me, I don't know if you remember them, do you remember sectors? The insects, they were like puppets, like
rubber things.
You could put like one of them was a tarantula, one of them was like a fly, like a dragonfly, and they were made by Coleco, I think. And my mum got 2 of them in Co-op, like most random place. I think she paid like $5.99. I was thinking Co-op. Imagine Co-op's doing toys now.
Yeah, popped out to get some eggs and comes back with them.
Good to have British chat. It's usually all American.
Yeah.
No Americans here, unfortunately. Tom Butler, I'm a massive Star Wars collector with a full loose run of complete figures, which I'm so glad about. Looking at the current prices, the prices are
full loose run of complete figures. So does that mean he's got everything?
I guess so, including no. I'm presuming he was talking about vintage, not so, obviously.
Yeah, all the vintage ones. What do you class as vintage from the first film until The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, up until 83, I think it is, ain't it? Yeah.
Return of the Jedi, yeah?
Yeah. So, there's obviously just, you got this last 17, didn't you? The last 17 figures. So I'm presuming up till then. I'm sure Tom will probably comment if he's still watching. Mr. Dan, my dad never had a Showtime Beetlejuice, though.
Yeah.
Too many collect for value, not because they had them. It is a shame. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think I don't know. A lot of people.
I couldn't buy toys as an investment. There's plenty of other things to invest in if you want to make money. So I could never show. I'm only interested in stuff that has nostalgic sort of meaning to me. I don't know how anyone could be so passionate about literally just trying to make money off toys.
Oi, let's say that.
No. What I'm saying is, first and foremost, you're a collector, aren't you?
Oh yeah. I'm a collector. I'm collector over reseller. Yeah, all day long.
Yeah, it's something you do on the side. I get that, but it's the people that are actually buying with a view. They don't give a shit about what they're buying. They just want that because there's a financial value to sell it on.
Oh yeah, I know a lot of resellers who don't collect. So
yeah,
moving on, mate. No, wait, have you seen the time passing flying? Matt Smith, good point. Recollecting toys your dad had. I wouldn't, but yeah, if they are a collector already, like Tom said, the habit gets passed on. I'm a huge record collector because my dad is. See,
I can imagine my dad running around with a potato with a spud gun.
David Resell said that's what he's going to do with his collection. He's going to give it to his kids when they get older. Nick Adams, Big C, I know you're a big WWF collector like me. What do you make of the custom accessories that are going about on eBay?
That's good you bring that up, because it's got to a point now where you don't know if you're buying the real deal sometimes. I mean, because these little tiny bits of plastic hold so much value, that has created this market. And I think you've got to be so careful that people will tell you they're selling you original accessories, and a lot of the time they don't know whether they're selling you an original accessory. And when you look at things like the cattle prods or the Big Boss Man's nightsticks, little things like that, you just don't know if you're getting a reproduction piece. You're never going to know that. It becomes difficult.
It's the same as He-Man's got a lot of reproduction now in weapons, and Star Wars is just it's rife, ain't it? It's known for it.
I mean, I wouldn't care if my Big Boss Man had a reproduction piece or not. I'd rip one out of a card, so I know it's the real deal, because I opened a 30-odd-year-old card to get it out. But for normal people buying them loose, does it really matter if it's not?
Well,
could you have it on your shelf in the nightstick and not really care?
I wouldn't listen. I wouldn't mind. Look, especially if it was because WWF Hasbro accessories can be expensive, like Coco Beware's parrot, Jake the Snake, and all that can start getting more expensive than the figure. But I wouldn't mind. But I need to know that it's a custom. I need to know that it's a repro. If someone's trying to sell me a repro as an original, this is where it becomes bad. This is where it becomes scummy and shit. And this is what people end up disliking about the toy community, because there is fuckers out there that do that know they're doing it.
Yeah.
I know of people, certain people that are not in the toy community anymore that were doing it, and it's not on. That's not what it's about. It's not what the toy community is about.
But I do believe, to be fair to some of these people get told when they buy something that it's a genuine accessory. Because,
no, but I'm talking about people that know what they're doing.
Yeah, I believe there'll be a lot of people though, Tom, that don't know that they're passing on.
Of course. There are going to be people that are not entirely sure. Of course. Scott says video games are definitely taken off now, bigger than ever. Sealed grading of video games has taken off in America with big gaming's quite big. It's always been big, to be fair, ain't it? For the last probably 10, 15 years, I'd say. Kevin said, thanks, guys. Matt agrees with me on the grading, 100%. Dan's asking Nick, the repro accessories wind me up. I know it's snobby, but having collected all the original, I feel it devalues my collection, just not in price, but also in effort, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense, to be honest with you.
I think it's the financial gains of the accessories now. It's that market, unfortunately.
Definitely. Grading is for an investment.
No one would do it. So, yeah.
Scott's saying that grading is for investment purposes and will always be easier to sell via auctions or demand a large amount of cash to investors, especially to people with limited knowledge.
Yeah. I just think the process of it is flawed. Ultimately, someone gives their opinion, looks at it and gives an opinion that someone on another day may give a different opinion. There's no real guidelines, is there, that they're working to?
Dan said he don't mind custom accessories for WWF Hasbro's because he needs Rick Martel's perfume gun. Yeah,
which obviously they didn't sell. So you're going to have to get a repro there.
Mr. Rob Addison from Tapton Toys, giving us a bit of education. Although Hasbro bought the Kenner back catalogue and business, they don't own the trademark for Mask. So I didn't know that. So you learned something new. Colin, I don't collect Super 7 toys, but if they did the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles unreleased figures that never came out, then I'd be very interested in getting them.
What laptop cable?
Is your battery about to die?
Yeah, no, I've got 8% of my laptop, but I know that if we don't run up, I'll just disappear, won't I?
Yeah. Rob, that's why nothing has happened as of yet with Mask. So that's the reason why nothing's happened with Mask, is because although Hasbro technically bought the back catalogue of Kenner, they don't own the trademark for Mask.
Is that right?
Yeah. So Dan Plastic saying 1985 for Star Wars with regards to the last finished Star Wars. Yeah, 78 to 85. So there's normally 96 figures. You've just been educated, Big C.
To the Hasbro WWF.
How many did they have?
90, I think, in the genuine standard release, isn't it? About 92 figures or something.
Fucking hell.
Without mail-aways.
Come from the first 3 movies, yeah. Scott saying to us to do another hour.
Might as well.
We'll just go with the flow. We're already gone over time, so we'll wrap up in a minute. Big C knows you've got to buy on cards to be 100% sure, even if people were resealing them on eBay. It's a flipping nightmare. If you want guaranteed original, that is. Yeah.
We've got to that point, Dan is spot on. We've got to that point now where the only way you know if you're holding a genuine piece is that you've opened a sealed original pack and pulled it out.
For sure. Scott saying great chat tonight, guys. Thank you very much, Scott. As is Kev, fantastic chat tonight. Thanks for all the information from everyone. Appreciated. He's also said glad you brought up about the WWF accessories on eBay. Mr. Dan has said spot on, Tom. Repo is fine as long as it's sold as that. Now I think Mr. Big C, I am pretty much all caught up. So what I'm going to say is that we are going to be looking to do this as a regular occurrence, a regular thing. Yeah. And we've decided that Mondays. I mean, we've had quite a good. We're just over an hour and 5 minutes, but I mean, we've got just under 30 on at the minute.
Just waffle on. I'll do it, and I think the Toy Division boys have really shown, haven't they? That because obviously I try not to miss them. To be honest with you, I do watch it a lot, And they've got good chemistry between all of them, and it is quite fun to watch them. And I think that they've made you realise that look, people will sit at home and get enjoyment from that sort of thing. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people at the minute. Funny enough, guys, everyone who's watching this on Thursday, which is the 4th, I believe, is Thursday. Is that correct? Yeah, Thursday the 4th. So this Thursday at 9:00, I am on the channel for LKG, the YouTuber. So you might not know him, Chris, but he does a lot of live streams. I think he's already done a live stream with Dan, maybe, and maybe Aaron as well. He may have done all the Toy Division guys, but he's just a guy who talks with collectors. He's just done a video with Retro Ghetto as well as another guy who I watch, and I'm going to be on there. But Mondays, we've decided that we will do a little hour. So Vic was meant to come on with us tonight. Vic from Fistful of Collectibles. Some of you guys who are watching this know Vic. If you don't know him, you've certainly heard of him through my videos. He has started doing some live videos with Monkeys Emporium, Johnny at Monkeys Emporium.
I love videos on a Friday night.
Yeah, so Vic's going to be coming on with us. I've also spoken to Rob at Tats and Toys. Obviously, he is in this chat, Tats and Toys 75. He is going to be joining us in a couple of weeks, and we will obviously be discussing what's been going on with him in the world of toys collecting, and also what's been going on in the world of art, because he has been making some fantastic mask items out of Coke cans, recycled Coke cans. So we'll be doing a live show with him in a couple of weeks. So you're going to be coming on with me now every week. Is that the thing we're going to be doing?
Oh, come on, just wheel me out on a Monday night.
Not much else to do on a Monday night. Let's be fair.
Much to do, is there?
There isn't much else to do. Dan said you're making him blush, by the way. Keep up the great work. Rob said going overtime, fighting crime, LOL. Yeah, Dan said you're making him blush. Carla, Toy Division, top notch. They are.
They are. Yeah,
good. LKG, top dude, lovely guy. So yeah, I'll be on LKG's channel on Thursday from 9. I think he does an hour, maybe just over an hour. So I'll be on there from 9. I'm presuming he's going to have a.
You've been on more talk shows now than Oprah, haven't you, Tom?
Well, hey, got to keep ourselves busy, haven't we? It's hard times, isn't it? You got to keep smiling, mate. You got to keep smiling. Nick said, "Well done, great show."
Well, Tom, I'm going to have a load of Action Man gear that everyone can laugh.
You will have stuff to show off next week, I'm presuming. Well, you'll have my parcel, but I'll tell you what you need to do in the meantime is get yourself for some sort of spot lamp in that room. Yeah, no,
I've got to improve the lighting in here, haven't I?
If you're going to be coming on every Monday with me, you need to improve your lighting, because if you look at mine,
I'm sort of hiding in the shadow, aren't
I know it's got darker and darker as the hour's gone on as well, I think. So, but listen, we will
light.
We will wrap it up there, guys. Everyone who's watching now, thanks for watching. So we are going to do this Mondays now from 8 till 9-ish, hour or so. Next week, hopefully, Vic will be on with us. We'll wait and see so we can catch up with him. Like I said, the following week, I'm going to have Rob from Tats and Toys with me. And, we'll have a few guests. Maybe we'll bring Dan onto the show with us. I know Dan does the Wednesdays. So does Aaron and Andy, but we can mix and match it.
I can be like the regular co-anchor.
Well, you and Dan are massive into wrestling as well, so you two definitely have a good old chat.
Yeah.
If you watch the you two together. So just here we go. A couple of last things. Toys will never go out of fashion. Collecting is fun. That is for sure. Nice one. David Resells says, thank you guys. Thank you guys. Yeah. Thank all you guys for watching tonight. Yeah. I think there's 30 currently in the room. It's not bad for a Monday night.
Maintained an audience.
That's what we want to do. We want to keep you guys entertained and have a good laugh. Carlos saying good night. Tats and Toys later, boys. Great chat. See you soon. Yeah, I think he's in the other. Oh, it is night time here as well, isn't it? Would enjoy that. So Mr. Dan Plastic will pen you in for a few weeks, I think. Yeah. Remember, guys.
You're going to sign him from Toy Division. We're taking.
I'm going to, on a temporary contract, we'll sign him for an hour and 15 minutes from the Toy Division.
Don't tell Aaron.
Wicked. Well, Mr. Big C, I will see you on. I'll see you. Well,
Cheers,
I'll
guys.
see you. I'll speak to you anyway. So, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to
Yeah.
subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, share it, do all that business. And I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. All the links are below. Guys, thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next week. Later.
Night. See ya.